Welcome to the Determined Man podcast, where we help men become better versions of themselves and discover their life's purpose. Join us as we unlock the power of discipline and what it means to be determined. Remember, stay consistent, build the discipline, feed the motivation. Hey everyone, Zach here. Welcome to another episode of the Determined Man podcast. Guys, this is episode 5. I'm super excited to be here with you today. Guys, today we're talking about one of our fitness episodes, and we're going to talk about the foundation of fitness, which I believe is movement. And the type of movement we're going to talk about today is walking. The keys to walking, the powers to walking, everything there is to know about walking. But guys, first thing I want to do is mention this. I think it's an important day that this is coming out, January 14th, because January 12th, last Friday, was what we call Quitter's Day. Quitter's Day is the day that 80% of people give up or fail their New Year's resolutions. And I do not want that to be you. So if you've failed, if you've already missed some days, things like that, there's still time for you to get back up on that horse and get back onto your goals and becoming the next better version of yourself. I think one of the best ways to do that is by moving and walking. Even if your goal isn't a fitness goal, even if your goal is a self-help goal, being nicer to other people, whatever it is, finance, saving money, getting promoted in a different job, walking and movement can only help. It cannot hurt. Now we're going to deep dive into walking. Last year when I started my weight loss transformation, walking was something I've never even done, never even thought to do. And I have gone all in on walking, trying to figure out the best way to walk, the most efficient way to walk. I will say the first thing is my recommendation would be any type of walking is good. So if you want to go out and walk the dogs, you want to walk in the morning or in the evening after dinner, take a walk with your spouse, all those things are great. Nature walks, hikes, things like that. But let me talk specifically about what worked for me and then what I think is maybe some downfalls of people that say they walk or step count. Now, a lot of people talk about 10,000 steps a day, 10,000 steps a day. Everyone's got to hit 10,000 steps. The first thing I would do is start tracking your steps. You can do that through, your iPhone or a different kind of Apple Watch or whatever. I just recently got the Fitbit Charge 6. Love it. And I would first figure out what your baseline is. We're not talking about counting calories in this episode, but obviously when you get into it, walking, burning calories, how much your intake is, your maintenance level of calories, your maintenance level of steps. It's the same thing. So right now, if you're averaging 6,000 steps a day, just in your normal life, obviously we need to bump that number up. But everyone says 10,000. And one thing I was thinking about when I got the Fitbit, I really started tracking my steps. When I had the iPhone, I would only be able to track it when I was walking with the iPhone. And I always told myself, well, there's all these steps that I'm missing out on. And I think what I learned by using the watch is the steps don't matter nearly as much as the dedicated focus walking. And honestly, that's going to be a theme about everything on this podcast. When you're dedicated, when you're focused on a specific goal and you measure that goal, you're going to be able to see the growth. So what worked for me was this 3-12-30 principle. If you haven't heard about the 3-12-30, let's get in it. Okay, 3 miles per hour on the treadmill. 12% incline, 30 for 30 minutes. I do that almost every day. I did that every day when I was losing weight. And now I even do more. I do like 40 minutes, 60 minutes. I go from 12% incline to 15% incline. I go from 3 miles per hour to 3.5 miles per hour. So what I ask is you start with whatever feels comfortable with you. And the thing I like about this walking is almost all gyms have treadmills. Treadmills are almost always open at almost every gym you go to. Even if you go to a really busy gym, they have so many treadmills you can hop on a treadmill. They even have the sign that says 30 minutes is the limit. So then therefore use your 30 minutes to do your walking. So the 3 miles per hour, it's steady state. You can carry on a conversation while you want to keep your heart rate in that moderate heart rate zone. We don't want to spike it. We don't want to be vigorous. We don't want to make it peak. We want it in that moderate fat burning zone. When you walk, you're going to burn the fat. So that's 3 miles per hour. The 12% incline, because honestly, for me, 3 miles per hour flat isn't getting it done for me. I need that incline. You can do 10%, you can do 8%. I fluctuate between doing that 12 to 15 and back down. And then 30 minutes, I think you need a minimum of 30 minutes to get it going. Now, one thing I noticed, what I struggle with my walking is I'm over ambitious. And so once it started getting easy for me, I'd want to bump it up. I'm like, oh, let me do 30 minutes at 15% incline. Let me do 30 minutes with, 3.5 miles per hour. And at a certain point, I was getting that vigorous heart rate. So just make sure you keep yourself under control, figure out where you're starting at, slowly build from there. But I think walking on the treadmill is great. I even incorporated weighted vest walking. I put on a 20-pound vest. But I will tell you this, walking is sneaky hard. Sneaky hard. Like I've always said, I was in decent shape, not nearly as good shape as I am now. But I'm telling you, if you're someone that's going from the couch, not doing any exercising, do you want to do 10,000 steps a day? You are going to feel sore. You are going to be tired, but you are going to feel so good about it. Afterwards, you're going to feel like you've got out there, you earned your day, you earned those meals. It's going to be awesome. But when you do a treadmill on that incline, you're going to realize you're going to want to hold on to the handles. You're going to want to hold on to the side. You're going to want to slow it down. You need to be resolved and be disciplined not to hold on to the handles. But I will tell you, when I first started, I had this system because I got so tired after about 10 minutes, I would have to hold the handle. But what I would do is I would do like a minute holding the front handle because I'm at an incline, right? So it's basically holding me up. I'm not really walking myself. I would do that for a minute, and then I would go to a minute on the side, holding the side of the treadmill, and then I would go a minute no holding. And I would do that cycle and that rotation as I build up my endurance. And then it would only go to 1 minute holding, 2 minutes not, vice versa, and things like that. And then as I progressed, now I don't need to hold it all. But say all that to say, there was a progression for me with the treadmill. And I ask, if you're starting this, you should also do a progression. You could start flat, just walk 30 minutes on a flat treadmill at 2 miles per hour and just move it up. But what worked for me was at 3, 12, 30. I've seen it a lot in a lot of different articles, a lot of different videos. A lot of people talk about it. And so I just ask you, check it out, see if it works for you. And then as it gets easier, add some vest, add longer time. One thing I love about walking, it's a great warm up. It gets your body warm before lifting. Now, if you're going to work out, some people, there's debates out there if you should walk before lifting, walk after lifting. Like I said in the other episode, do what works for you. What I did last year was I would walk for 30 minutes and then go right into my workout. And I enjoyed that because it kind of kept my heart rate up. I already had a sweat going. So when I got to my workout, I was already, sweating. I felt like I'd earned it already. And I just kept building off of that momentum. What I'm doing now, because I'm focusing way more on my gym routine and really trying to get those gains, as they say, I'm actually going in early and I'm doing my cardio about 50 minutes on average in the morning, going to work and then doing my lifting at lunch. So I'm separating the two. Whatever works for you in your schedule. You might want to be an evening walker, things like that. Now, that is my dedicated walking. Now, I would also say there's other walking that you can do. You can do leisure walking, nature walking, walking with your spouse, walking the dogs. I think those are all great things. And when I do that, even when I walk with my wife now and the dogs, I'll start my watch and make sure I try to get, a 20-minute mile pace. But it's not the same. And I don't know what it is. And I just caution you, if you are walking in the neighborhood and you're just walking the dog or you're just going for a walk, make sure you get enough work. And I say that because a lot of people, when they walk, they kind of meander and they kind of, leisurely walk. And it's not a focused effort. They stop and talk to the neighbor. They stop and let their dog sniff all the time. I'm not saying that's bad if that's what you want to do, if you've already gotten your cardio in. But if that's all you're doing, you have to ask yourself, are you taking a disciplined, determined approach to why you're doing your walking? Like I said, it's not going to hurt you, but are we maximizing our gains in our time? And if that's the only time you can walk, I would dedicate serious walking. So if you have to walk outside and you don't have a treadmill, focused walking, aggressive walking, kind of like, I won't say speed walking because that's a whole different thing. But you want to go, you want to have some energy in it, you want to have a purpose in it. Guys, the last thing I'm going to talk about with walking and what I love about it, it built mental toughness for me. I've always been able to go run 30 minutes or so, run 3, 4, 5 miles. But there's something different. When you're on a treadmill, especially the one I had where it was facing a wall with no TV, no nothing, you walk for 30 minutes, not going anywhere, looking at a wall, you build some mental toughness. And then when you do go for a run outside, 30 minutes to get you, 4 miles in, 5 miles in, it doesn't feel as long anymore because you've built up that toughness of, oh, okay, I got to walk here for 30 minutes or even 60 minutes. Now, sometimes I'm walking for 45 minutes, 50 minutes, and it makes those long runs go by way easier. And the other benefit of walking is I use it I do mine in the morning, and it's kind of time for me to reflect, think about my day, get my thoughts about me. I don't really watch TV when I walk. I will sometimes listen to podcasts or watch, some YouTube or whatever. So I think it's a great opportunity to get your mind fresh, thinking about the day ahead while you're walking. Also listen to some stuff. Now, I don't watch a lot of entertainment when I'm walking. This is where I listen to other podcasts. I listen to self-help. Hopefully you can listen to me while you're walking. If you walked right now, listen to this whole thing. That's 10 minutes of your cardio about me talking about walking. And if you're doing that, keep going. You're only a third of the way done for your 30 minutes and keep on pushing. But guys, I think it's a great thing. Please go out and try it. It opened my mind to how much walking can help. Never even thought about it before. I was like, oh, run or bust. I'm always going to do HIIT workout, hard intensity stuff. Little did I know you need that fat burning zone, that moderate heart rate, that steady state cardio. And I think walking is the greatest things. So guys, get out there and get some. Don't quit on yourself. I know Quitter's Day is right around the corner. You can always start whenever you want to make your life better, to become the next better version of yourself. Guys, my name is Zach. Remember to stay consistent, build the discipline, feed the motivation, and I'll talk to you guys later. Deuces.